I'm gonna definitely kill the crying baby. Oh my god. Alright. Let me go say hello to everyone real quick. Welcome everyone to the stream. Everyone, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Hi. Welcome to my tavern. Welcome. Alright. Quick announcement. We have our sponsor for the foreseeable future, Shockwave Gaming Servers. Link is down below. If you want to get a relatively inexpensive server that helps you out, that's cool. We also have our artists who are always needing help. So these are our two artists. If you wish to get your name added to the list, by all means, message me, show me your work, and I'll see if I can't get you added to our art list. Oh, yes, thank you. Yes, our wonderful Tavern Tankard. It is a nice tankard, and I love it. It says Twisted Taverns on it, the Seeker's Guide to Twisted Taverns. It is a D&D tankard. So I enjoy it very much. I got it with a nice D&D Kickstarter that I got. Today, we are going to be discussing a lot of D&D stuff. Why is that? Well, let me introduce my companions for today. We have CandidGamera, my consistent partner in crime for Tabletop Tuesday.
Hello.
I'm going to have to literally, strangle my children, I swear. And my other partner in crime today, Inquisition, a.k.a. the Jerman. Jerry, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, he's here. Awesome. Gonna turn him up slightly. One moment. Good God, I'm going to mute myself. Sorry, guys. I'm going to strangle my children, I swear. If you hadn't noticed, I have a tag that says parents. I have 2 children, and right now, one of them's demanding my attention right this moment.
What the hell are you two doing?
Yeah.
Piss off Daddy.
Oy.
Oh, he dead.
Why do you need soap?
So you came up with your name playing D&D. That is awesome. D&D usually gives you some very interesting screen names at times. I will say that. Let me move the Discord off of the screen so we don't have that constantly. Alright. So, there is that. So we are going to be talking about some D&D today. And in particular, I saw a video and I shared it with CandidGamera here. And I recently just shared it with Inquisition. And it was done by a gentleman named One True Hazard on TikTok. And he talked about a creature. I have a friend who has a kid who gets pulled away a lot. Yeah, it's like you almost have Tourette's when you have kids. I feel like that's fair. It's like you talk like a normal human being, and then every now and then you're like, ah! But anyway, One True Hazard had a party that killed a Nethic. And I wanted to actually look up what was a Nethic.
Nothic.
Nothic.
With an O, yeah.
Nothic 5e. I kind of want to see what a Nothic is first before I got into. Oh, okay. That's what a Nothic is.
Big eyeball frog thing.
Yeah, big eyeball frog thing. Has weird insight, advantage on wisdom checks, claws, rotting gaze. Okay. And they wanted to use it to make an item. Was the players thought.
Yes.
Looking at this creature though, I would say I would not let them make an item out of this eye. I would let them use it as a spell component.
Sure.
This sounds more like a spell component thing to me. But that's just me. Like
There are lots of potential arguments one way or the other. I will say that spell component makes a lot of sense.
Especially with weird insight. The whole weird insight thing that the creature gets, which like targets one creature within 30 feet of it, contests its charisma deception check versus the Nothic's wisdom insight check. If the Nothic wins, it magically learns one fact or secret about the target. Target automatically wins if it's immune to being charmed.
Now, I would say that, if you wanted to use its eye as a component to make like a crystal ball type device,
Yeah,
I could see an argument for that.
I could see an argument for that. Especially since it has like keen insight, it has the weird insight, it has a lot of those abilities. I could also see it also has rotting gaze, which if it targets one creature, it does necrotic damage to them.
Yep.
So maybe some sort of magic item that deals necrotic damage.
Sure.
I could see that.
And there are different schools of thought about the let's harvest everything we can from the monsters and make stuff out of them.
Yeah. I mean, shit. There's
Go to bed.
there's a whole video game about it, Monster Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And someone did write a Monster Hunter 5e book.
Yep.
I mean, there are plenty of rules in that to use monster parts as components for making magical weapons, armor, equipment, things of that nature. So that does exist. Mind you, it is third party. It's not D&D approved, not Wizard of the Coast approved, but it does exist.
Right.
Well, I mean, like in most cases, it's easy enough to say, right? Okay, you have, let's see, my own campaign. There was a case where we defeated a big monster, and some of them said, "Could I use bits of this to create stuff?" I said, "Sure, but how are you going to harvest that?"
Yeah.
And after a while, they went, "Well, I have a sword here. I could use that to start cutting the skin off, and I can use it like a pelt and sell it, or try to craft a bit of armor for myself." I said, "Okay, but you'd need to find someone who knows how to turn the pelt into leather first."
Yep.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like tanning is a unique skill, and it's not easy, and it also takes a long period of time to do tanning.
Yes, and like this is before my original party members at the minute. I think it was a one shot with someone, I forget who, and he just said, "Sure, don't worry about that. That's fine. I don't mind going to a city and asking, is there anyone here that can tan something for me, or who knows how to do it?" I said, "Sure, you can do that. So, how much of that can you feasibly carry on top of all your other stuff?"
Yeah,
And he was just like, "Well, I'm currently carrying this much." I said, "Well, that leaves you with enough room to carry at least 2 bundles of it under one or both arms."
oh yeah. You got to take into account mass of the object, how much the object weighs, and all that other
Welcome,
jazz.
traveler.
Welcome, TARDIS lover, to the tavern. Grab yourself a mug of ale, pull up a chair, and enjoy the tales we tell here. I'm going to say we probably are going to have a special soon on Dragon Steaks. We're going to have a 2 gold off special next week. So either way, he had this issue. I will say that. And so his solution to this was he goes, "I want to make a crafting system." And I'm like, okay, that's not a bad idea for 5e. And then he realized he can't make a crafting system because he said that the magic items in 5e are broken. And his example he used was the Cloak of Invisibility, giving you the access to the spell Invisibility twice. And it's a 2nd level spell. And a 17th level character is supposed to have this cloak. And then he says, ergo, that's broken. So therefore, you have to rewrite the magic item system. And because of that, you have to rewrite the magic casting classes, which you have to ergo rewrite this. And he just kept going on to the point where he's like, I might as well just rewrite the whole game. And so he's trying to create his own gaming system.
Yeah, I mean, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, it escalated real quick. I don't know which... they're talking about Doctor Who. I haven't seen enough Doctor Who to actually pick my favorite Doctor, by the way.
The correct answer is the 10th Doctor.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Because I'm going to be brutally honest, and I'm going to sound like a bad nerd here. I've only seen 3 episodes of Doctor Who.
No nerd can be into everything at all times.
And here's the problem. 2 of the 3 episodes I saw were with the Weeping Angels. And it freaked me the fuck out.
Okay.
Like,
So,
I was like, my mind just seriously lost its shit. I was like, nope, I'm fucking out. I'm done. I'm fucking gone. The Weeping Angels freak me the fuck out.
so on a scale of 1 to facehugger, how freaked out were you?
I would say like a 7. Like a strong 7. Like, don't get me wrong, the episode was really well written. And I could see the horror in it. Because it got me to freak out. And, like, most horror things make me just go, this is kind of dumb.
Sure.
But, like, that was really well written where I was like, nope. Fuck this. Now, for those of you who are recently joining us, I have a phobia of face huggers. That is why there's a sound effect of them down below to help me get exposure therapy to the little bastards. It is slowly working. I am not, like, literally having a heart attack. And then the 3rd episode I saw was, they were on a train, and, like, apparently, it was daylight, and, they were on some alien planet, and it was daylight, and if it got dark, like, crystals would grow over the train or some weird shit.
Yes. I know the one you're talking about.
I don't remember much of the episode. It was been years since I've seen it. But Doctor Who is a show, like, I've seen clips of it, and it looks fun, and I want to watch it, but it's just something I just never get my hands on. I can never get my hands on the show to binge watch it, because I'm the type of person that, once I start watching a show, I need to keep watching it.
Yep.
And it's just like, shit. But on the previous topic, though, so this guy wants to make this new system. And I'm all for it, right? Like, let the guy, if he wants to build a whole new, brand new system, have at it, Haas. That's your own shtick. HBO Max. I don't have HBO Max, so I'm going to have to find another source. I'm sorry. But one person in the first video made a suggestion. He goes, if you're having all these issues, and he listed several issues, why, he goes, or just play Pathfinder, was the guy's recommendation. And a woman made a video response to this guy's comment, and she was incredibly condescending, and was like, oh my, what a, insightful comment, one that we haven't heard like a million times before. And, like, she basically just talked down to the guy who made the comment, and then ended it with, my only thing I could say at this point is, do better. And, like, I'm sitting here going, like, you don't know what the guy was trying to imply. Because when I first watched the first guy's video, even I went, maybe he should try Pathfinder. I don't know if he's ever tried Pathfinder before or not.
Yeah.
So it's like, it might be something worth trying. If at the very least, when he's making his new system, he may get things from Pathfinder that may help him develop his new system. At the very least. Because it never hurts to play a multitude of systems and get ideas from them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. And then he made another video later, like the next one he made, and he talked about all the game systems he played, or some of them, and that none of them ever fit, and he really wanted to make his own and kind of work with it. and design it from the ground up. And I'm like, okay. So he's done somewhat of his due diligence. So I'm not completely, saying that like that comment is horrible. If someone had made that comment to try Pathfinder after that video, where he said like he had played all those games, that I felt would have been a dick comment.
Right, but we don't know his history, and if we don't know that he has tried Pathfinder, it's a reasonable suggestion.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I was like,
but I mean, some people are just mean on the internet because it's popular to be mean on the internet.
Yeah, especially behind a VTube avatar, because of that anonymity, and that helps. So it is what it is. So I've been watching his videos, and he actually later on mentioned me in one of his videos.
Oh.
Yeah, because I made comments on part 5 and 6 of his videos, because he was talking about removing certain skills, rewriting certain skills, and using them as things. And one of the...
You're right over there.
It's the face hugger.
Yep, that's a face hugger. Thank you, TARDIS, for increasing my heart rate just a little bit. I could use the exercise. Oh my god. Thank you. So, one of the things he got rid of was he's combining intelligence and wisdom into a single stat. And he's...
Oof. That kills me every time you say it.
Yeah, I know. And then he's also combining investigation and perception. And what he wants to do is he wants to encourage players to, when they're working on puzzles, not to overly rely on investigation.
Right.
And I can see where he's coming from with it, but like I pointed out in the comment, and that's what he made the video on, was, can we get a photo of these facehuggers? Oh, sure. Oh, fuck me. Yeah. Yeah, this nightmare fuel. They grab a hold of your face. They kind of look like weird-ass spiders. Let's see if I can find a nice, good picture. Preferably one that isn't attached to someone's face. It's what's on the screen right now. So, yeah, oh, here we go. We'll go with this. There you go. That's a face hugger. Yeah, this thing will fly through the air, latch onto your face, wrap that tail around your neck, slowly squeeze it until you basically open your mouth, and then it will shove this little proboscis thing into your mouth. Oh, if it will just let me pull up the image, not the whole... It'll shove that little proboscis thing into your mouth, and then inject an embryo into your chest.
Yep.
And then usually about a day or so later, an alien will burst out of your chest and kill you.
Which does make you wonder about just how fast that thing gestates. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it absorbs some of your DNA in order to gestate. So it takes on some of your traits. So, fun times. Yeah. Fuck that thing's noise. Yeah, no thank you. Yeah, that was my thought too. See, the bigger aliens don't scare me. Because they're like, oh yeah, it's a big, horrifying claw monster that has a second mouth that goes like that. Yeah, not that frightening to me. It hunts you down and just kills you. That thing uses you as breeding ground, man. That's fuck off. It's a giant spider demon from the lower pits of hell. Fuck that thing. So like, but his whole video though, like he made a video. He mentioned me, and he didn't like just negate everything I said. He actually stated that like with his system, and he stated his opinions. But he did state that if you were sticking with 5th edition, what I said was valid. That, like, investigation was an excellent tool in the toolbox. But he said that, like, for example, if your players are having trouble with a puzzle, things of that nature, some DMs can use the investigation as a way to give them a hint. What he prefers doing, though, is making his players come back to it later. Like with a fresh set of eyes, is what he said. And I'm like, that works some of the time, but not all the time. Because we've both experienced, all three of us have experienced as DMs, there are certain situations you just can't leave. Right?
Right.
So, like, you need that investigation. You need that extra tool in the toolbox. But you can't keep using the same tool all the time. That's why you need a variety of them. So there is that. But one of the things I wanted to talk about today was, between the three of us, what are the upsides and what are the downsides of both 5e and Pathfinder, like, with our experiences. Like, what have we discovered between 5e and Pathfinder that we find are good and bad?
You want to go first?
I'll say sure. The stats are basically the same in both. Let's be brutally honest. The only problem I have with 5e versus Pathfinder, I see the downside and upside with both. The downside with both, with each, is 5e limits your stats to 20. And I get why they did that. They want you to be heroic, but not overpowered. But at the same time, at higher levels, that is incredibly limiting, especially when you're dealing with monsters that have absurdly high stats. And,
True.
And the game is very stat reliant. Like, you don't have skill ranks. You don't have a lot of magic items you can use. Like, they limit how many magic items you get. Rules is normally written. All right, I'm not talking about modifying the rules or anything like that.
Right.
So they limit how many magic items you get. You don't have skill ranks to help you with that. So you have to rely on your class's special abilities heavily, some of your race's special abilities heavily, and that's about it. And the best bonus you're probably going to get from your stat is a +5, unless you get really lucky and find the right magic item that increases it beyond that 20 cap.
Right.
Because traditionally, with rules as written with 5th ed, magic items, you don't have a price. They didn't price them out.
Yes.
And that is a huge problem. With Pathfinder...
It's a big gap, yeah.
Yeah. With Pathfinder, though, on the other hand, with the stats being able to go up to whatever number you want, that does favor the players a hefty amount. And that's both good and bad, because sometimes it does make it difficult to provide them challenge as easily.
Okay.
As a DM. Like, sometimes it can be difficult to adjust encounter difficulty to make it so that way, if you need to tailor an encounter, you have to sit there and go, okay, what are their stats? How high are they? What abilities do they have? What can I twist to account for that? Because, like, for example, in Squiggly's game, for instance, I have almost a 30-something intelligence on my witch.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with my wizard companion. So our spell DCs are in the 30s to, like, resist.
Yeah.
That's insane. That makes a will save really hard to pass for us.
Absolutely.
And then you throw on top of it with the witch, I can sit there and look at someone and lower their will save by 4. No matter what. Even if they pass the evil eye DC, their will save is still -4 for 1 round at least. Because it says if they pass the save, the effect still lasts a round.
Right.
So it's just like, hi, screw you, I'm going to make your day really bad. And that can make sometimes the characters a little overpowered. And I get that.
Yeah.
And then Squiggle goes, and then you cackle. Yeah. And then the witches cackle, and then literally I can make that 1 round effect last forever. Because the cackle ability with witch allows you to take any effect that you have running, and it lasts an additional round.
Right.
So it's like, oh, congratulations, this is going to take forever. So those are both good and bad. So involving the stats, what do you think, Gamera?
I would say that 5e and Pathfinder have different design goals, and the stats reflect that. Of course, Pathfinder grew out of D&D 3.5, so it is basically where D&D was. And even though D&D took a little detour through 4th edition, they came back. Yeah, they came back into 5th edition, and were like, what do we want to focus on? And they decided what they wanted to focus on is really that sort of not quite uber powerful range of levels, and not that, struggling to, you're threatened by a vicious house cat in a village levels. That kind of sweet spot where you're powerful enough to fight your enemies, but you're never going to really just steamroll stuff. And so they basically said, we're going to set our goalposts at the either end of that, and we're going to flatten all the stat curves. We're going to flatten the number of magic items, so you can still have a D&D experience, but within what people refer to as just kind of like the golden levels of D&D. And then you can have, a good long-running game. You'll never be punching gods in the nose, but you're, going to have fun. And that's fine.
Yeah. I would say that level range is probably, 5 to 12?
It depends on which edition of D&D you're doing, but yeah, usually the sweet spot starts around level 5, because even in the older editions, that's when your wizards get fireball and stuff like that. I think, fighters used to get weapon specialization around level 4 or something. And then, at least in the very older editions, around levels 10, 11, 12 is when you started getting things like your fighter gets a keep and a men-at-arms. It was basically things that were engineered to settle down your character to maybe retire them from adventuring. And yeah.
I can definitely agree, especially in second ed. Second ed, they really tried to get you to retire around 13, 14 especially.
Yeah.
Because I remember by 13, 14, I think rogues started getting involved in the guilds and getting a rank in the guild that required them to stay in one spot.
Yeah, and monks and druids had to go find somebody higher ranking and kick their ass.
Clerics usually got blessed by their god and said, "You go tend to the flock here."
Yeah, so really D&D, they just wanted to look at the older editions and say, what did we do right? What was the best part about D&D? And they're not wrong that that's part of the best part, but I'm one of those players that really likes the high-level stuff, really likes the epic things. I want to spit in a god's eye.
Second Ed Druid was very limited, a certain number of level in the whole world. Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Druids were very limited in second ed. But also there were some classes in second ed that were just broken as fuck. Like the psionics in second ed.
Yeah, psionics were terrible in second edition.
It's like, oh, hi, you're going to swing a weapon at me? Your arm's broken. Your weapon's broken. I just snapped your neck. You're dead. Have a nice day.
Well, I mean, one of the problems with Psionics was just they were so inconsistent. But
Yeah, it was either you were worthless or you were literally God.
my favorite thing, though, was in Dark Sun, where you started at third level. Your starting out character could have the Disintegrate psychokinesis power, which was a save or die power.
Yeah.
Your third level character could go to up to any monster in the game and basically do save or die.
Yeah, that was no. Now the with that now I want to also look at, like, for example, the skills as well. And for fifth ed, I kind of understand what they were aiming for in skills. They were trying to simplify skills, make it less math, to make it easier for new players.
Sure.
But I don't like how skills worked. I'm more of a fan of the Pathfinder skill set.
Well, I mean, Pathfinder gives you more granularity, and just like we were talking about, it gives you a wider range of values.
Yeah. And not just that, but also, like, for example, as a fighter, you could have a few ranks in a knowledge to represent you had some idea of that knowledge, but you weren't, like, super good at it.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean by granularity. If you wanted to say, well, my fighter was originally a baker, and her village was destroyed, and then she had to go, become a warrior.
Yeah.
You could reflect that with some ranks in profession baker, but you wouldn't have to, dedicate a whole skill pick to it.
Yeah. And
On top of, sorry to interrupt you, Ruby, but on top of that, if you are a baker, you can use that in roleplay as well, and then the skill comes in handy even there because, well, the party's going to have to sit down to eat at some point in time, and, well, if it's part of your backstory, you can use it.
oh yeah, that's true. But also, you don't have to dump, like, a hefty amount into it, because, like, in 5e, you don't get a lot of skill choices unless you're certain classes. And
That's true.
and so picking a proficiency in a skill is a big deal. They also lessen the amount of knowledges there are in the game. Like, there are very few knowledges in 5th ed. Like,
Yeah.
Let me see. I want to make sure I'm remembering all the skills right, because I'm trying
Was
to remember.
there a reason when they cut down the knowledges? Because that seems like something you would kind of need if you're a, like, new to a nation or something like that.
Let's see. I'm trying to see. Skill list. If I could type it. What was that question? Inquisition? German? Oh, he went muted. Okay. No, let's see.
I'm back. Sorry. My mum was asking for help and stuff.
Okay, so what was your question, man?
My question was there a reason they removed the knowledges? Because that seems like an important
Well,
skill. Why would they remove that?
they didn't remove all of them. They just lowered it down to 4. It was Arcana, History, Nature, and Religion, which were kind of the main ones that everybody seemed to take. So I kind of get it.
Yeah.
Like, they were going for the ones that seemed to be the ones everybody went for. But with that being said, I do kind of miss the knowledge local. That was a good skill for rogues. If that makes sense. Like, to represent that, like, that knowledge you had about, who's who in the area you're in.
Yeah. So let me think. What did they cut out? They cut out the
Dungeoneering.
Dungeoneering. They cut out local. They cut out nobility and royalty. They cut out the planes.
Yeah, They rolled planes into Arcana.
And that makes sense to me. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not a bad adjustment.
No. Nobility, I think, got rolled into history, which also kind of makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
I could kind of see that.
Yep.
The one, though, I don't see anywhere is engineering.
Oh, yes, engineering. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, a lot of people do. And as a fighter, it's a really good one to have. Yeah, Squiggly's like, knowledge local is sort of weird. It's like never been here before yet. I know all about the place. That is true. Knowledge local can work a little weird. And that is true. But I will say that there is one aspect about knowledge that a lot of newer DMs and players seem to get wrong. And that's with 5th Ed and Pathfinder and older editions of D&D 2. I've run into this with some players and DMs. They seem to be knowledge always comes from a book. And when I was listening to the guy's videos, I got that impression from him as well. Because the example he gave was a wizard makes a knowledge check and a barbarian makes a knowledge check. The wizard studied at a college constantly. The barbarian, the only time he ever picked up a book was to burn it, he said. And yet the wizard failed the knowledge check, didn't know it, but yet the barbarian passed the knowledge check and he said, that's weird, I don't understand it. And I'm like sitting there going, you are totally negating other forms of way of learning other than just picking up a book.
Yeah.
Like,
there's also like the case where you could have just heard of
right,
set in another city, or heard that people, like for example, heard that the orcs have figured out a new way to wage war, and they've been doing really well with it because people talk and you hear things. It's a natural.
Well, yeah, that's one way is rumors. Rumors is one way.
Yeah.
Another way is just the oral tradition. I mean, we have plenty of societies in the world that didn't have much writing. They passed their knowledge, they passed their, their history, their abilities, orally through stories. I mean, what the hell do you think the Bard class is all about? I mean, that's literally how the Bard should have most of its knowledge. Is not through a book. He probably just sitting in a tavern with some dude, and the dude told him shit. I mean, that's a prime example right there.
Yeah, and as I briefly discussed yesterday when we sort of previously talked about this topic a little bit, you're saying that the wizard should know more stuff than the barbarian, but you're totally negating the fact that you're playing a game with dice.
Yeah.
That represents the random chance that the barbarian has heard something through whatever means, oral tradition or just listening to rumors around the tavern, that the wizard hasn't heard, or maybe they both heard it, but the barbarian's the one that recalls it first. It's not, necessarily that the wizard doesn't know it. It's maybe that the wizard can't bring it to mind.
Yeah, he like, what was it, what's the name of that movie? It was like a kung fu movie. It was, it had Jackie Chan and it had Jet Li in it.
Forbidden Kingdom?
Forbidden Kingdom, where the kid's getting the little cup and he's getting full and the guy just keeps pouring and it overflows.
Yeah.
And it's a prime example. Your cup is too full. You have too much knowledge in your head.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't recall the knowledge you need. That's a great example right there. Or another example is the barbarian experienced it. The wizard had not. Maybe the barbarian had fought a wizard or fought a creature or fought whatever, and he experienced what the piece of knowledge was, and the wizard, staying in a college, never ran into it.
Yeah.
It happens. I mean, that's a great example. Like, there are construction workers out there who have worked building buildings all their entire lives. You ask them some engineering questions, but you phrase it as like a construction problem, they'll be able to tell you sometimes more about engineering than the damn engineering student will be able to.
I mean, I would use the example of let's take, a blue collar construction worker and a guy with a master's degree in chemistry. If you ask them a question about lion habitats, the guy with chemistry knowledge has gone to school for longer. Therefore, by this guy's logic, he should know the answer. But maybe the construction worker watches a lot of the Discovery Channel.
Yeah. Or maybe, he's worked with lie a lot.
I said lions, like
lions.
the animal.
Oh, sorry.
Like that's what I mean about the Discovery Channel.
Sorry.
Like
I thought you said lie.
No, I was trying to make it not specific to chemistry.
Okay.
But a related science,
Okay.
biology.
Biology. Okay, my bad. I thought you said lie, not lions. My apologies.
Nope.
But
Okay.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like, question about lions. Boom, here you go. The guy watches Discovery Channel. The chemistry guy doesn't give a shit. Perfect example. So knowledge doesn't necessarily mean you got it from a book. And that's a great example. But fifth ed, I feel their skill system is a weakness compared to other editions.
It's not what I prefer, but I know why they did it, and it does have some advantages.
It does. It's simplistic.
Yes.
It's very newbie friendly. It's very simplistic in design, and it makes even non-skilled characters in that skill relevant, even at later levels.
Yes.
The downside is it's still heavily reliant on attributes, even at later levels, and that tends to be the problem.
Yeah.
Where Pathfinder, it's very skill reliant. You're rank reliant.
Yes.
So, like, for instance, with rogues, in 5th ed, I would honestly recommend probably Dex as your primary stat, Charisma probably as a secondary stat, Con maybe as a third, Intelligence is fourth, Wisdom fifth, maybe Intelligence, Wisdom back and forth. You can argue either way, but Strength as the last. And that would be my skill order 5th ed. But in Pathfinder, depending on what kind of build you're doing, I'd put Intelligence near the top.
Yeah.
Just for the skill ranks.
Absolutely.
Like, it would be really hard to argue not having Intelligence in the top 3. Depending on your build.
Oh, yeah. I mean, most of the rogues that I did under Pathfinder would have been Dex, then Int.
Unless I was doing a social rogue, I might have done Charisma, then Int.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. That's the only thing I would do. But so there is that. The other thing I would analyze with 5th ed is the feat / ability increase. Having that choice, I feel, is a little bit difficult. But they kind of make it a little better by giving a lot of feats a stat bonus.
Yes.
So it's not as bad. I will say, though, that there are some feats in 5e that are incredibly favored over others.
Yes.
Like, insanely so. Like, if you are a fighting type, if you use a weapon, Great Weapon Master is really hard to pass up.
Mm-hmm.
It is just, it's so much extra damage. Sentinels also are really good feat it's really hard to pass up.
Yeah. And I've mentioned Lucky, just incredibly generically useful.
In every class. Jesus.
Yeah.
Every class. Goddamn. But every class has a couple feats here and there that are really well designed. And while Pathfinder does have that, Pathfinder's feats, I feel, are more class specific for what feats suit it best. Like, there are very few feats that are generically good in Pathfinder, I feel.
I mean, I would argue maybe improved initiative is never wasted.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call that like a must-have feat.
No, I mean, you can get along without it, but
Yeah.
it is definitely pretty high up there.
Oh, yeah. But good lord. And then there's, of course, the classes. And I will say that while Pathfinder has a lot of classes and all the archetypes and stuff, if you cannot find what you're wanting to play in Pathfinder, like a class you want to play, you're not looking hard enough. Like, Christ. I cannot think. Like, there are... Every base class has at least, if I've done my math right, 15 archetypes.
That's entirely possible.
I think the lowest one I saw was 15.
Now, this is where I want to jump in. The classes in Pathfinder are brilliant. Like, for example, there's one called the Warrior Priest.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a joke at the start, and I went, oh, that's an actual class. They've got skills and spells and...
Squiggly just... Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Squiggly just brought up, it goes, Pathfinder has so many feats that I'd never seen anyone. Is they're not that they are bad, there are just so many to pick first.
Yes, and the only reason I looked up Warrior Priest was I heard that used to be an actual literal thing. And I just thought, wait, I wonder if that's available in Pathfinder, because that's the one I'm using at the moment. And lo and behold, there it was.
Oh, yeah.
I just went, okay, I'll take that. Which, by the way, Ruby, had I known that was a thing in Pathfinder, I would have chosen that for the Pathfinder game you had running with me and the others.
Mankins?
Yes.
Oh, boy. But no, like, Pathfinder has so many classes, it's really hard to basically find a class that doesn't suit you. And you almost never have to multi-class. It's very rare that you do. And there are very few prestige classes, and they fit very specific niches.
Mm-hmm.
But they're good ones. They're classics. So there is that. With 5e, the way 5e is designed, it definitely seems to be geared towards multi-classing. If you want to do anything than a basic build. Like, there are some subclasses, but with 5e not being out as long as Pathfinder, things of that nature, there are not nearly as many subclasses as there are archetypes. That's to be expected.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's weird because 5th edition was all about sort of contracting the options into this sweet spot, and they eliminated a lot of the really fun, in my opinion, oddball interactions. Like, a decanter of endless water, you know how many things you can do with endless water? That is just so wide open potential. And the 5th edition was all about narrowing these options down, and then with their multi-classing, they missed things like the Paladin Warlock, where it's like, oh, I can give up my Paladin spell slots for Smite, or my Warlock spell slots for Smite, and then just get it back on a short rest. And that's incredible. It's a great combo, and it's like, this seems counter to how you designed all the rest of this stuff. It's like you took out all these fun interactions and then added back in these weird multi-class ones.
Oh, and what makes the Paladin Warlock one even worse, you do Hexblade. Like, I built this as a villain. You do a Hexblade, all right? All you have to do is take 5 levels of Warlock, because you need the right invocation, all right? There is an invocation called Improved Pact Weapon. You take that, you can get a 2-handed weapon as a pact weapon.
Yep.
Congratulations, you are never unarmed. You can summon that thing anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, you can make that little puppy do immense amount of damage. By the time you hit max level, you're doing, on average, 152 points of damage in a single round.
Yeah.
Not many things are going to survive. And you get back all your smites on a short rest.
Yep.
And God help you if you mess around with that the right way. You can do some horrifying things with it. It's like, yeah, no system is perfect. Like, there are going to be flaws in every system. And with Warlock, I feel like there's a lot of room for abuse there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my god, the coffee lock.
Yeah.
Like, hi, I have infinite spell slots. Let's go. Like, holy crap, man. So there is that. And then, of course, there's some of the broken spells.
Yeah.
Like, conjure animals.
Yes, you told me about your cow bomb.
The cow bomb. Oh my god. Summon 8 cows above the enemy 60 feet. You're now doing more damage than a level 9 spell. And you're only using a level 3 spell. It's like, what the hell? That's insane. I don't get how that missed it. I feel like they probably should have written that in or eroded it at some point. Like, the animals have to be summoned on a surface.
Yeah.
That would be the big thing. So, every now and then I hear a thud from my kid's room, and that worries me. I would also say both games are heavily reliant on battle mats.
Yeah, that basically has been true since 3rd edition.
Yeah, very much so.
We have to jump in here and state I will need to disappear. My apologies. I will chat to the two of you sometime later this week or next week. Goodbye.
All right.
Right on.
Later, man. Yeah, they're both heavily reliant on battle mats. I will agree with that wholeheartedly. Though I will say, when it comes to online content being available, I feel like Pathfinder does a better job at it. Mm-hmm. They make a lot of their content more available for free. The only big thing they don't do is just make the artwork they add with the content not free. Which is not really the end of the world as a DM.
No.
Because you could find plenty of pictures online. You say, it looks like this.
Yeah.
Or they write a written description of the creature looks like this. And it's like, okay. Now, when it comes to pre-gen adventures, though, it's been a mixed bag for both. Like...
Oh, that's fair.
Like, there have been some Pathfinder adventures that are amazing, like Rise of the Rune Lords has been pretty cool, Skulls and Shackles has been pretty good, but then there are some that are like, this could have been better. But then there's some 5th ed ones that are, like, really cool, like City of the Spider Queen, I think it's like Tiamat's Treasure or something like that, or I forget what it's called. The one there you have to go face Tiamat.
Right, Horde of the Dragon Queen?
Horde of the Dragon Queen. I can't remember the name of it. I was always... And the other one was Storm King's Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like the 3 big ones that like a lot of people say are really good. But then there are some really bad ones. Like Tomb of Horrors, I think it was.
I mean, Tomb of Horrors has been a thing since 1st edition. They did do a version of it for 5th.
Yeah, and it was not good.
I mean, it depends on what you want. If you want to kill your entire party, the original was a classic. I don't know how the 5th one...
The 5th one is like the ultimate kill your party / troll your party.
Is it really deadly?
It's still pretty deadly. It's not as deadly as the original, but it's still up there for deadliness. But there's a lot of trolling in it.
I mean, that's true of the original too. It was basically built by Gary Gygax to screw with his players who thought they had seen everything and were just absolutely cocky at that point. He's like, "Oh, you think you guys are you're too big for your britches, huh? Well, we'll fix you."
Yeah, we'll fix you real good. Yeah. And the other one I'm not a fan of, I've never been a fan of this one, is the Temple of Elemental Evil.
I've never gotten to play that one.
It is kind of bullshit.
I mean, again, you're talking about one that dates back to first edition there. There's a lot of bullshit in first edition.
Oh yeah, no, and they re-released it in 3.5 edition. It was called Return
Yep.
to the Temple of Elemental Evil. And I don't know if they've released a 5th edition one yet.
I don't believe so. I don't think that one's gotten translated to fifth.
I never played the 1st edition one. I played the 3.5 edition one.
I think there
And
might have been a fourth edition version.
I never touched the 4th edition one.
Yeah.
But the 3.5 edition one, oh my god, was it brutal.
Yeah.
It was very much like, hi, do you have 20 characters? Okay, we're going to kill like 19 of them. Let's go. It's like, fuck, dude. Like, and the DM was trying to be nice. Like, he was trying not to kill us. But, like, some of the rolls were just bad. Because, like, some of the random encounter rolls were just like, oh, you're in a field heading towards, the outskirts of the temple. Here's 4 mind flayers. And you're like, dude, we're like level 3.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. It's like, god damn, man. God, what was the other one? I never got to do Ravenloft.
Yeah.
In any form. That is one of my biggest regrets to date so far. I've never gotten to play in Ravenloft. I've read through Ravenloft. I've gotten to, read through the story, got to, see who Strahd is, but I've never played through it. And that's something I really regret. I want to play Ravenloft one day.
Yeah.
That's something I would enjoy. And I'm not sure I don't know which version I'd do. I'd probably try to do like a Pathfinder version.
There's some pretty good Pathfinder conversions out there.
Yeah, because I'm not sure I'm going to overly enjoy what they're doing with the 5th ed version. Because they're doing heavy rewrites in the 5th ed.
I mean, to be fair, the kind of tweaks that they're making, I wouldn't even call them heavy rewrites. Mainly, the original version has the Vistani, which are portrayed as very stereotypical Romani, or as they're popularly known, gypsies, but that's
Oof.
really considered a racial slur. And so a lot of the rewrites focus on making them less stereotypes. And
Ah.
a lot of people, of course, when you revise something to make it less offensive to some group, are like, well, what are you doing? You know?
Okay, fair
Um,
enough.
uh,
I like all I got was that they were getting a big rewrite, and I'm like, is it like what kind of a rewrite are we talking about here?
some of the Dark Lords have had their races or genders tweaked in the most recent iteration, and that's fine. Um, the Dark Lords are barely characters; they're forces of nature.
Yeah, to my from what I read, that like you could literally change everything about the Dark Lord's physical appearance. It would do jack, dick, and squat.
Yeah.
It would just. It's like you're changing the appearance of a thunderstorm. Congratulations, it's still a fucking thunderstorm.
Yeah, and honestly, the most recent iterations that I read the descriptions for whatever the Van Richten's guide, I really thought it was well done.
Give me a second. I'm hearing a lot of thuds in the background, so I will be right back. I'm gonna go check to see what the hell my kids are up to.
Yep.
Alright, everyone, I am returned, and the sun is slowly setting, so the light is coming through my curtain. Oh my god.
All the things I planted have been found and surrounded.
Huzzah.
It took me a while. It should not have taken me this long to find them all because I waited so long.
Mm-hmm.
The grass had buried a good chunk of them. I'm surprised I didn't lose. None of them are dead. All
Yep.
of them are borderline, but I didn't lose.
By kissing their boo-boos and slapping the bitch who made the boo-boo.
As I choke on my lungs. God damn it. God. Be nice if I didn't choke on my goddamn lungs constantly. So, I will say, 5th Ed, though, has the better marketing right now.
I mean, it's solidly marketed. There's a number of people playing it in Let's Plays. So you've got that going for it. It's really good for people who are just learning RPGs. Like, it's not dead simple, but it is simpler than Pathfinder because of the fewer options.
Yeah, you don't end up running into analysis paralysis. Thank you, by the way, Grifster88, for the run. Yeah, and certain groups,
Quit picking. It's gonna make it worse.
I'm not picking at it. I was literally tweaking at my eyebrow.
It's like you're trying to kill dead skin.
Nope, I was tweaking at my eyebrow. I will say that, like, certain groups like Critical Role have definitely played a factor in making 5th Ed as successful as it is.
That's an understatement.
Am I going to say it's the only reason why it's that successful? Nah. Like, there's a multitude of reasons why it's successful. It's just, it doesn't hurt.
Right, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's just like,
It helps a lot.
yeah. And it's just like, so you got to take into account some things. Though, with 5th Ed, Critical Role does unfortunately give it also a negative effect, which is unfortunately something that the DM fights against heavily, which is the Matt Mercer effect.
Yes, the so-called Matt Mercer effect, yes.
He hates it. He fights against that constantly.
Yeah.
Which, I don't blame him. If anything like that ever happened to me, I'd fight that too. I'd be like, no. Stop that shit. He's a lot nicer about it than I am. Though, I did find out they did used to have a another cast member that they removed from their show.
Oh?
Yeah, he was a kobold or a dragonborn sorcerer.
Mm-hmm.
And they had some personality conflicts, and the guy also was caught cheating.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, why would you cheat at D&D?
Especially when you know it's going to be televised.
Well, not just because it's just because you're televised. What is the point?
Okay, ask that to. I must have the biggest dick that used to be part of one of your parties.
Which one?
Mr. I must have the biggest dick.
Oh, Rucker, right.
He used to do the same crap.
Yep. Weighted dice. Rucker had weighted dice. And even then, he would still try to roll the dice, and then if, the number wasn't perfectly what he wanted, he would quickly pick them up and give me a different number.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
That's not what you roll.
Yeah, it's like, are you kidding me? It's like, don't do that, dude. That is not, that's not bueno.
The one time I was at your house and he used them, I picked them up when these are weighted. And he tried to argue and then I started rolling them. Like, He got so mad at me.
Oh yeah,
I am sorry for derailing the game that night.
it happens. But I will say, like, in general, I like Pathfinder in general as a better system, and I know that's what most of my players prefer in my games.
Yep.
But there's nothing against Fifth Ed. I don't think Fifth Ed is a horrible system.
No, I honestly think it's pretty good. I don't hate it at all. I don't see me likely to run an extended game in it just because my preference would be for Pathfinder, but I have run a short game in 5th edition. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, Anne prefers Pathfinder. She's not a fan of Fifth Ed.
What little we've played of it, it's just too simplified for my taste.
She says it's too simplified for her taste. Yeah, like, in my opinion, 5th Ed would be what I used to recommend 4th Ed for.
Great starter game.
It's a great intro to RPGs. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, here's your first RPG. It's very simple. It's not difficult. Try to understand it, and once you get into this, we'll get your feet wet with other RPGs. Not necessarily Pathfinder, but maybe something else that suits your fancy. Might be World of Darkness. Could be Savage Worlds. Whatever suits your fancy. I tried Swyhander, by the way. God, that game is not particularly stellar.
Yeah, I've never tried it.
In some areas, it's really complicated, and in other areas, it's stupidly simple. And it doesn't strike a good balance between the two. Like, it felt like to me they overly focused on the combat system and not anything else. So, like, if you don't play a combat character, you're not really going to be accomplishing much.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. It was just like, ouch. And I know there are quite a bit of tabletop RPG fans out there that are still angry with them. The makers of Zweihander.
Yeah, because of the trove.
Yeah, because of the trove. It's like, whew. It's like, dang. Like, not even White Wolf fans are still angry, you know, with, like, tabletop fans are still angry at White Wolf because of the trove. And White Wolf sued them.
What gets me is that Zweihander's basically a ripoff of Warhammer Fantasy to begin with. It's like you guys don't really have a lot of room to talk about intellectual property.
Yeah, it's craziness. Hey, hon, can you do me a favor? Can you turn on the light over there?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, and that one over there. Thank you. It's getting a little dark.
I forgot I need to water the chickens.
Okay. Yeah, it was just like, man, it was just, oof. Now, don't get me wrong, I've seen other systems that are just way more imbalanced.
Oh, yeah.
Alright? I've seen some horrifying things. Don't get me wrong, Call of Cthulhu is fun, but, like, balancing-wise, it could use some help.
No, I would say that it's fairly balanced. Balance is not its issue.
Balance is not... Death.
Again, it's a game that makes different assumptions than like D&D.
Fair enough.
The assumption is that you are quite likely to die because it's a horror game, and D&D does not do horror very well because you're all in all quite unlikely to die. So Call of Cthulhu just swings back the other way.
Okay, that's fair enough. I'll give you that. There's also Legend of the Five Rings.
Legend of the Five Rings, I have never played, but yeah, it's popular.
Yeah, it's very D&D-esque.
The dice and the system is different, but I mean, it is a sort of, fantasy RPG with a lot of those trappings.
Yeah. Haven't gotten a chance to actually play it, but I've been reading through it.
And of course, it had the D20 crossover version, so you could play it in 3rd edition and
I
get the flavor.
I will say the Buffy the Vampire Slayer RPG is really imbalanced.
Yeah, Unisystem is it has issues.
Like, because if you don't play the Slayer, or you don't play a hero, which is what the Slayer template also involves, because it's like they got, what was it, a healer? It was a hero, white hat, and I forget what the third template was. If you don't play,
Might be Witch. I forget.
I forget what the third template was. It was something bizarre. No, which was on top. No, it's hero or white hat were the two main templates, and then you added templates on top of those.
Okay.
If you don't play a hero and you play a white hat, man, you're gonna get stomped. White hats got stomped so often.
White hats did get basically extra plot point things that they could spin to, escape from situations and influence die rolls. Whereas heroes had just more consistent performance because they had better stats. But it wasn't balanced, and I don't think it was intended to be balanced, but yeah, it's like, well, okay, yeah, you're playing. Who gets to be the Slayer? Okay, the game's about that player.
Yeah, pretty much. I remember someone was running it and they asked like a bunch of us if they wanted to play, and I'm like, okay, let's sure. So our friend Amanda Ritz was the Slayer. I forget who the storyteller was. Mike was in it, and he played a witch, and I played a demon.
Nice.
And so what happened was he had an artifact that I was contained in.
Okay.
And as long as he held that artifact, he could keep me under control. Like, I wouldn't go buku crazy berserk and kill everyone. Because I was the type of demon I was a combat demon.
Right.
But I was honor bound to obey the person who held the artifact.
Right.
So Mike's character made damn sure he never lost the fucking thing.
As you do.
Now, the guy who was STing it thought that Mike was going to play a white hat. And spend all of his his points to take witch. And no, he played hero. And I took hero as well. And between the two of us, we actually outpaced the Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
Because we knew what we were doing. Like, she would just go in and try to, hit things. And we just sat back and just outthought everything. And that, oh my god, that aggravated the ST so much.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Especially when he wanted to basically make the game all about the Slayer, like you basically stated.
Yeah. I will say that I've had some good times with the Buffy RPG. I've played some convention games with it that were really fun, and I played in a campaign that was really solid. And in every case, I was playing a white hat, so it is possible to really dig it that way. But yeah, you do start a little disadvantaged.
Yeah. Now, I will say that I've been in communication with the guy that's making his own system.
Mm-hmm.
So when he gets more of his system kind of down, he plans on coming on here and talking about it.
Okay.
So I figured that could be something cool to do. Kind of an idea.
Sure.
Because he did also mention he wants to get rid of the druid class.
Why?
He's
Daddy, go to bed.
he's apparently going to take some of what the druid does and filter it into other classes.
Okay.
I don't
So,
know.
I mean, is he redesigning 5th edition or is he just making a different game? Because I get mixed signals based on what he's saying.
I feel like he's just making a different game.
Right.
I think he's taking the base bare bones of a D20, like basically just rolling a 20-sided die to figure out things and working from there. And then like taking some of the classes and races from D20 5e D20 and saying I'm going to incorporate these into my game.
Sure.
I feel like that's where he's aiming at, where his headspace is at. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and see where he's going to go with it. But he's at the very beginning stages of the game development. And while he has a lot of excitement, I'm not entirely certain I don't know if he knows how much work is ahead of him.
Well, yeah.
Because, like, I'm building a campaign setting, all right? I'm not rewriting Pathfinder. I'm not rewriting 5e. All I'm doing is adding some new gods to a world.
Yeah.
And a few feats, a few spells, nothing too crazy, and some new magic items. I'm not rewriting the whole system. And even I'm sitting here going, God, shit, this is so much work. Like, I am just like, oh my God. It's crazy. It's like, goddamn. And I'm like, frag, man. I couldn't imagine building a system from scratch.
Yeah, it's challenging. I've known people to do it. I tried it once myself and very promptly found a game that was 90% of what I wanted to do anyway, but it had been play tested for years and was inherently better than what I was trying to do at much less effort.
Yeah, I think the term is sometimes you don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
And that's good. You don't need craziness to do it. It's just I just I don't know, man. This is just like, how do I put it? It just feels like it's going to be way more work than people realize. And I'm glad that they're excited about it. I mean, it's okay to be excited.
But just don't be dicks to people who have, questions or suggestions.
Yeah. And so far, other than that one instance, they haven't been dicks so far that I've seen.
Yeah.
So there is that. So that shows me hope, if you will. I have hope. I will say this though, with Pathfinder, I'm not a fan of second ed Pathfinder.
I haven't played it yet.
It's like a shittier version of 5e. That's the best way I can describe it. It gives you, like, one other guy did it. He was Taking 20, I think it was the channel, and he put it in a better way than I could. And second edition Pathfinder gives the illusion of choice.
Okay.
Like, because with first edition Pathfinder and 5e, there are some things you can do in a turn that are useful, but there is no obvious, this is the best action every turn.
Right.
Where in second edition Pathfinder, there is almost practically a macro you can run with certain classes every turn. And that's a problem. Like, especially Ranger. Like, Ranger practically has a macro. You run every turn, starting at low level, and it doesn't change.
Right.
And it's like, if you don't follow that macro, you're really doing their class a disservice. Like, heavily. And this is not me trying to be min-maxy. All right?
I understand.
This is just straight up like, you're really hurting the party. And I'm like, wow, that is kind of shitty. It's like, why would you do that? Like, what happened? What is going on here? And I don't get it. I don't know why they decided that. I feel like they were trying to do 5th ed, but in a different way to make themselves, interesting, but it just collapsed. And I don't know why.
Yeah.
And that makes me sad. I was kind of hoping 2nd edition Pathfinder would do okay. Whoa, that's loud.
I mean, I felt like Pathfinder 1st edition was pretty much exactly what I wanted. So when they announced that they were doing a 2nd edition, I'm like, there's almost no way this could be better. So it feels like this is unnecessary to me. And so I was skeptical. Now I looked at the playtest materials. I do own a copy of the 2nd edition core book and monster manual. So I can potentially run it if I feel like it. But again, I know Pathfinder so well and have so much material for it. Why would I?
Yeah, at that point, there's no reason for it.
I think Call of Cthulhu has a really good methodology for its edition changes, which is basically very small tweaks over time. And like between 6th and 7th edition, or even 5th and 7th edition, your ability to convert between the two editions is just really high.
Yeah.
It's so well designed and such a small change. So I really appreciate that as a player.
And 3.5 gives you so much shit too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a beautiful thing. And I love it. Because it's like you have, how do I put it? I'm trying to think how to put it. Like, I don't have the words. And it's kind of driving me up the wall. What the fuck? Apparently, the fuck is going on here? Something ain't right.
Going on.
Oh, I'm trying to get this started, and it says the Steam cloud has to be enabled for the user to be logged. What? Oh, I guess I'm not logged into Steam or something?
Oh.
On my Stellaris? That's
Okay.
weird. Yeah, it's not logged in. What is going on here? Log in with your Paradox account? No.
I mean, you may have to also log in with your Paradox account to like connect with their launcher, because Steam launches the Paradox launcher, I believe.
Right. I tried doing that, but it just literally sat there and just kept loading and loading and loading forever. Like, forever. That was weird. I don't get it.
Okay, I think I need to build up and take out these mercenaries.
Yeah, it's doing it again. It's just logging in forever. It is some weird stuff. That is a little bizarre. No, incorrect email or password. Okay. There we go. See? That was my password. Alright, so that was the correct password. I do not enjoy this, but whatever. There it goes. That logged in. Yep. Alright. We're getting that fixed. Whew. I just want to get everything ready and everything for, Monday.
Yeah. Man, that's like 16,000 power worth of a space amoeba. I don't know if I want to dive in there.
Yeah, that is I'm not sure I want to do that. This game's not available for achievements. Okay. I thought the Steam Cloud was enabled. What the fuck is going on here? Oh, autosave the cloud. Why aren't Okay, I'm trying to... Okay. It's not letting me turn on... I'm logged into Steam. What in the name of hell?
Have you tried looking up the error message to see if
Oh,
there's a workaround?
It doesn't give me an error message. It just says, Steam Cloud is not enabled or the user is not logged into Steam.
I mean, to me, that is an error message that I would be able to search. They... Go ahead.
I have to shut... Like, one person restarted their computer. That is weird. Okay. Is the only way you get achievements Iron Man mode?
Correct.
That's some craziness.
Yes, I'm currently enjoying Iron Man mode.
Yeah. Okay, so let me try exiting completely. Try turning off Steam. See if that works. And then try reloading like this. Which it should turn Steam back on and all that jazz. It's just... It's like, hooray for stupidity. Turn that off. I can turn Origins. That reminds me, I have something with Origins I have to get rid of later.
Oh?
Humble Bundle. I got the monthly Humble Bundle. And because I got it, give me a second. Library, I think it is. What the fuck? Oh, Jesus. It just wasn't playing anything. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Or are you... No, I don't want recently updated. alphabetical platform. Can you please stop moving around so goddamn much? I have the Command and Conquer collection.
Mm-hmm.
I have to redeem it by June 7th. Oh, never mind. I didn't see the year. Never mind, I'm good. It says must be redeemed by June 7th, 2023.
Okay.
So I have an idea for it then. Which is when I do my Extra Life Day, it's going to be one of the gift keys I give away.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'll make someone very happy. Here's hoping this works now. Please work. Good gods. Pray to whatever god you believe in. Yeah. Yep, it worked.
Excellent.
Gameplays, autosave the cloud. Semi-annually will be good. And I definitely want to save the cloud. Yeah, I want that. Multi-sample level high. Oh, you must restart the game to have these effect. Okay. Let's see how well this affects the game. So, here's my question though. In Pathfinder, what would you say is your favorite class? Hands down.
Oh, I mean, there are a lot of things that I really, really enjoy playing. I am always fond of playing rogue types, and the rogues in Pathfinder are very good. I also really enjoy playing caster types.
Squiggly says investigator hands down, and I agree with that for him. He is 100% investigator.
The investigator is a solid class. I really like the Pathfinder cleric. I think that they found the secret sauce to making clerics good and interesting and useful.
Anne loves clerics. That is Anne's favorite class, and it is very well done. And I feel like you can make clerics really good at almost anything.
Yeah.
Oh, what kind of a freaking galaxy do I want? I'll go with the Spiral Forearms. 15 AI Empires, 4 Advanced AI Starts, 4 Fallen, 3 Marauders. I feel like I'll just leave it at standard stats just to see if I can adapt to the changes. For me, I really like rogue types, but I've fallen so much in love with the kineticist.
It's a great class.
I love it. It's a fun class. I have a hard time not going for it. This is the second time I played it. Excuse me. Yeah, as I choke on my lungs. I played a Earth Fire. I'm doing that in a evil game. And I'm playing a Air Water in Jerry's game.
Right on.
And I'm having a blast with it. I'm playing a Tiefling Air-Water Kineticist.
Cool.
Who is adopted, sort of, a warlock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mission window, overview main assets of stars. Okay. Oh, this is new.
Oh, you've got the tutorial on.
Yeah, because I don't know the new shit.
Yeah.
Let's track that one. Select a science ship. And go to a nearby system and say, survey that system. Okay. And once that mission's complete, I will worry about that later. What do I need more of? Let's see. Can I build? Habitat is 1,500. Oh.
Why are you trying to look at mecha structures?
Because I'm Voidborn. Alright, see you later, Squiggly. You have a good rest, man. Research. Oof, advanced habitat. No, we'll do research. I went with the Voidborn start.
Okay.
And so that gives me habitats at the very beginning.
I mean, looks like they're still pretty expensive, though.
Yeah, they are. That's the downside. So I'm gonna go with mining station. And then what we got here? Administrative offices, holo theaters, leisure districts, trade. Was lurking, I'm back. Welcome back, TARDIS. We're kind of just hanging out. So we're gonna definitely pick these. Colonies with automatic development are on low resources. TARDIS, thank you for feeding 10 little bitties to the owlbear. He is super appreciative of that. Alright, so what we got here? We got a generator station, which is energy. Got a mining station. And the capital. Oh, sector settings. Balanced focus. We appreciate the little bitties for our little friend. Alright. Now we have Strike Force Medusa. Some lasers. Okay, looks like some decent stuff there. Oh yeah. Wait, what am I in? What does this say? Nebula. I'm in a nebula. That's gonna be fun. And I'm in the middle. Oof. That could be good or bad.
I mean, it reduces, like, sensor... Oh, you mean the middle of, like, the arm.
Construction
Yeah.
complete.
I thought you meant the middle of the nebula.
Yeah. I don't know how far into the nebula I'm in. So we'll see. Alright. What else is here? That's nice. Nope, that's not what I want. Oh, what am I looking for? I want all this to go away. Oh.
Welcome, traveler.
Welcome, Misfit Angel, to the tavern. Here, let me grab my mug. Grab yourself a mug of ale, pull up a chair, and enjoy the tales we tell here. I'm just playing some Stellaris while we're talking some D&D and some Pathfinder. So here's a good question. What race do you tend to prefer then?
Oh, I'll do a lot of elves and half elves, a lot of humans. I don't tend to go for small folk very often, but sometimes.
Sometimes?
Yeah.
I do tend to do quite a bit.
Welcome, Commissary General. I am
What
Veer,
the
a
fuck?
prototype synthetic intelligence developed under utmost secrecy by the military. High Command has activated me to serve as your advisor and strategic analyst.
Yeah.
An excellent decision. Building a star empire can be a daunting task.
Alright. So... Oh, I get to select where they go. Holy shit. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's 8. Oh. Shit. So, one of these I don't get. That's good to know.
Scroll your mouse wheel down.
Ah, there's more. Shit. Fuck.
Yeah.
There's a lot more I don't get. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, they've added several.
You alright?
He's still awake.
How is he still the fuck awake?
I don't know. Medicine didn't work tonight.
Oh, Jesus. Let's see, science, we got diplomacy, we got adaptability. Oh, expansion may be worthwhile.
Which one did I start with? I think I started with the science one first.
Yeah, the science one's really good. I'm gonna go with that. It's hard to say no to the science.
To overcome the vast distances that separate star systems, our scientists have developed the light drive. This device
Christ.
permits travel at speeds far exceeding that of light between systems connected by height.
Alright, intriguing. A planet modifier. Ooh, research. Cool.
This is our science ship.
Alright, I know the science ship, so I can go there. He's surveying that. Oh, I remember those days where I got that. We discovered alien organisms. Cool. Let's see. But, let's see. Friggin'... What race do I tend to play? I do human a lot. I'm thinking what else I tend to play. I hit elf every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
I've done halfling a lot, especially if I've done a rogue.
Okay.
Like if I play like a thief rogue or an assassin rogue, I've done thief. I've done a halfling. I'd say the race I've probably played the least is gnome.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm redesigning my race with genetic engineering.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Yep.
Construction complete.
This is our construction ship.
I know the construction ship, so we can do that. Now, I know there was a way... Okay, what was it? Son of a bitch. I could have sworn there was like something. What is this? Oh, there you go. There you go. Build mining stations. So there is that. I haven't played enough 5th Ed though to pick a class or race yet though. I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing has really struck me.
I would say I'm the same.
Yeah. Eventually I'm gonna have to
The tradition screen
get that
displays
there. Eventually. I see here, leader gain, research upkeep 20%. Yeah, I want boldly go first. Here, we're gonna boldly go where no man has gone or no being has gone before.
This is our system's starbase. These upgradable stations.
Can I build? Yes, I can. I can build a science vessel. Alright. Because I want that. More science. For science!
Construction complete.
Science.
I started as lithivores in this one. I've benefited very nicely from having started with some caretaker ancient empires, some mercenaries, some big nasty monsters. So I was relatively isolated from my neighboring enemy empires. So I got a good start, and I'm enjoying that.
That helps. That helps a lot. You alright, hon?
Yeah, but being out surrounded by all the grass, like down, pretty much buried in it, is pissed off my allergies. Go ahead.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
Alright, let me go to Twitch. Because we're nearing that time. Now I get that ready. Because it's going to take a while to figure out who's doing what and who we're going to say hi to. Oh, there's a lot of people on. Let's see, we got some Resident Evil. A lot of Resident Evil. Jesus, that seems to be popular today. Stardew Valley. Oh, my friend Lunarius got partner.
Cool.
So she's celebrating it. That's cool. That's neat. Congrats for them. Oh, Puzzle Monkey Tree's doing a JoJo playthrough in Stardew. Oh no. Oof. Yeah. I think I know where I'm going once we get there. Alright.
Well done. The first survey of a star system beyond our own has been...
Recon pass completed.
Okay. Study anomalies. Track the task. Build 4 research stations and recruit a scientist. Okay. I think I'm gonna go with science division because I eventually want to get in faith and science for that. All right. Send you. I don't think there's any. No, there's none in here. So survey system. And let's
The leaders tab lets us hide.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Ah, damn. It takes Unity now to recruit a scientist.
Yes.
Oh. That's interesting.
We have a brand new science ship, but no scientist.
Yeah, I know. I have to get some
Now that
Unity.
we have begun exploring our neighboring stars, it might be time to extend our reach.
That is interesting. All right. So, everyone, I know it's a little early, but it's not terribly early. We are going to we're going to be raiding someone called Melissa in Denial. So, if you are a follower, please, by all means, use this message. If you are a subscriber, by all means, use this message. Make sure that you're taking care of yourselves mentally and physically. That's important. And, oh, God, snap, crackle, pop. Remember, it is always time for tea in the tavern. So make sure to drink up. And I will see you tomorrow for Wildcard Wednesday, where we will be playing... Oh, what am I playing Wednesday? No one's voted for anything. So... I think we're gonna probably be doing some either RimWorld or World Warships. I'm not sure which. One of those games. So either way, so I will see you all tomorrow. Catch you all later. Toodles.
Later on.